What's good, everybody? It's Michael Alder here from CarpetExpertBlueprint.com, and in this video I'm covering the top 11 questions that came in all on the subject of carpet seams. So what we do is we put some feelers out there, questions get submitted about the flooring industry, and then from there we create these videos answering the questions in bulk so you can go ahead and make decisions from there, whether you're into buying flooring, hiring installers, how the process is done so you know you're not getting ripped off or not. So in no particular order, here are the top 11 questions that came in all about carpet seams. And for you installers out there, some of these are gonna be pretty basic there, so bear with me on this. But question number one, what is carpet seam tape? This is carpet seam tape. Now what you do is you put this under the seam. After you cut it, you put it halfway under each part of the carpet that's getting seamed together, and you run your iron along it. It melts it. You drop the carpet backing into the tape, tractor it together, add a weight to it if you're into weights, and then move it right along every few seconds at a time to go ahead and put your seam together. There are countless videos on this channel, so I will try to link to some of those, and if not, just scroll through the channel. It shows exactly how to tape a carpet seam. So that's what carpet seam tape is. Question number two, what is a carpet seam roller and what does it do? I don't have my carpet seam roller in here, but it's a little spiky wheels on a handle. We're gonna go ahead and shoot a follow-up from that because I don't wanna stop. We're in the zone right here, we're gonna keep on going. So it has little spiky wheels on it, and you run it along the carpet seam, and what it does is it blends the fibers together and helps hide the seam so you don't have a visible, ugly seam in the room. So that is a carpet roller. We're gonna do a video on carpet rollers all in itself because it didn't come in for this video. Now this question is, can see a carpet seam, what can be done? So if you could see the carpet seam, 90% chance is it was a lousy cut job on putting the seam together. So a couple things that could be done. You could take the carpet and actually fold it all the way back and remove the seam tape. And probably one of the best ways to do this is to run your iron along the backing of the seam tape. It warms it back up and you could peel the tape off. You could recut the seam to do a better job cleaning it up, and then reseam the carpet, stretch it back in to get a better look. I'll actually create videos on that topic as well, so you can see exactly how to remove the carpet seam tape, recut it, and then seam it back together and reinstall it. Can a bad seam be fixed? Well, yeah, absolutely it can, and the way I just shared is one way about doing it. But let's say it's in a doorway, it's been there for a while, a cat's clawed at it under the doors and shredded it all up, and you have these big gaps in it. What you would do, so let's say we have this piece of carpet here. Let's say the seam was right here and it's just all shredded and ugly. What you could do is just cut this section, remove the ugly piece, and then if you don't have any more of this carpet, cut a piece out of the closet, patch that back in, and then you could seam anything in the closet because we all know you have hundreds of shoes, it's sitting on top of that, and it's not gonna matter. So that is another way to repair an ugly carpet seam. See what we got next. Where can you rent a carpet seam iron? So any of the big box stores typically have a rental division. So Home Depot, Lowe's, like Handy Rents, I'm sure you have one called something else in your town. That's the big local one around here. You could go in there and you could rent a carpet seam iron. But here is another piece to that. Carpet seam irons can be bought pretty cheaply over at places like Harbor Freight. I believe they're like $49 an iron there. If you go on eBay, a lot of times you can find clearance seam irons and you can get them for anywhere from 20 to 40 on there. So a rental place is gonna charge you at least 20 bucks for a seam iron. If you go to Harbor Freight, you buy one for just under 50. Maybe you get lucky on eBay, you find one for 20. You're getting the asset there. And even if you will use it one time, at least you could relist it on Craigslist and regroup some of that money. And actually there'll be a link below this video sending you to some auction style tools on eBay so you can shop on there if you're in the market for any installation tool and you can get a deal on that. Can you seam carpet with a regular iron? Okay, I personally have never done this myself, but this big old hillbilly at one of the commercial places I worked for years ago when I was younger told me about how his iron broke on a job site, and he asked the lady if he could take her household iron, gave her money for it just to save himself a trip to the store, and actually burned a seam with a household iron. So have I personally done it? No. I think we need to do a video with that though. Expect that in the near future, it's going down. But this old hilljack I know, he went ahead and bought one off of the customer and used her household iron to burn a seam. So I've been told it works. I personally cannot vouch for it, but expect a video in the very near future where I burn seams with a household iron. That's gonna be a good one there. Let's see, where do you seam carpet? Where to place the seam? So Carpet seams typically always end up in the doorways off of the hallway. So, you have the hallway transitioning to a bedroom. There's almost always a seam right there. Now, the other places to place the seam is anywhere that it's not going to be in traffic areas, visibility, things like that. Now, sometimes it can't be helped. You have the L-shaped living room, dining room, which is very common in most houses. You have to seam those together right there. It's going to be a big 12-foot seam in the room. As long as it's put together well, it's fine, no worries. But in bedrooms, things like that, if you could place the seam to where a long dresser or a bed's going to sit on top of it and it's never going to be in a walkway, that is the ideal place to place your seams. So if it could be avoided being in walkways, go ahead and hide them under couches, dressers, beds, things like that. How to seam carpet without an iron. So to seam carpet without an iron, there's a couple different ways. On glue down carpet installations, you would just do a full spread of the adhesive, several videos on this channel about that. And then when you go to put your seam together, you just use a seam sealer. Like we use AC44. They should be sending me a check for this. I drop them in almost every single video and I don't even know them. But awesome product. You would seal your seam, you put it together, you tractor it together, it's blended, done. Once it dries, you're good to go. There's no iron involved. Now let's say you're doing a bedroom stretch-in and you have to seam to the doorway, but you don't have a seam iron, you're the DIY type, and you don't want to make the extra investment in tools like that. You could get what's called cold seam tape, and it's basically like flypaper. And you would put it down under the seam, you just drop the carpet backing into it, and it's super, super tacky, super sticky. It'll hold it in place for those DIY type projects. I really wouldn't recommend using it on full installs because it isn't really made for that, but in a jam, doorways, things like that, little home DIY renovation projects that you're taking on yourself, cold seam tape is a good option to put your seams together without an iron. How to use carpet seam sealer. Okay, so got our AC44 again. So this is a plush carpet, basic cheap garbage here. We would not use seam sealer on this, although I'm sure some people will jump in the comments section and say they do it anyway. Waste of time in my opinion. So let's just envision this being an indoor-outdoor level loop carpet that we're doing a glue down installation on. We have to seam these two together, we're gluing them down. So we would glue this piece down, then we'd take our seam sealer and we'd run a bead right along the edge there. We would take our other carpet, flop it right down into it where it meets, tractor them together. Look at that beautiful seam, man, that looks amazing. But that's how you use seam sealer. You put it right on the edge of the carpet, and that helps it from fraying and running and all the disasters that come with Berber carpets, indoor outdoor carpets. You put a seam sealer on the edge of the seam, it glues it together, it seals it, and then that way you don't have to worry about any issues down the road with seam runs and things like that. How to hide a carpet seam. Best way to hide a carpet seam is to make a good cut. If your cut is really good on the seam, it's clean, you didn't cut into the fibers at all, your carpet seam is going to look great. Once again, we have countless videos on this channel about that as well, so you can kind of search around on there. I absolutely show several strategies on how to cut a carpet seam to make it look good, and that's how you would hide the carpet seam. You cut it well, it's going to look perfect when you seam it together. And finally, how to remove carpet seam tape. I actually covered this earlier in the video, but the best way is, let's say, so you have the seam tape on the back of the carpet. Let's just say this is in a doorway and you're seaming new carpet onto it. What you would do is you would put your iron actually on the backing here and you would warm it up with your seam iron. And don't get crazy with it, don't overheat it because it'll warp the carpet, but just enough to warm it up. It gets the tape tacky, and then you would just slowly peel the tape off the backing and you're good to go. So that is the best way to remove carpet seam tape from the carpet backing there. So those were the top 11 questions all about carpet seams that had came in. If you have any questions about the carpet and flooring industry, please comment below. Stop by carpetexpertblueprint.com as we have the DIY toolkit giveaway every single week. To get in on that, all you have to do is tap the subscribe button, go over to carpetexpertblueprint.com, sign up, and at no strings attached or anything, we just grab a random subscriber and send them some cool stuff every week. The prizes change every week as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next video.